From the room immediately to my right, I had a chilling woman's scream, like a proper horror movie scream, and I felt a cold breath with it as well. Absolutely terrified me. A house, I'm not saying this house necessarily, there was a report of a German pilot that haunted one of the houses. The ambition, I guess, is obviously to find out if there is an afterlife, if the paranormal is a real thing, without sensationalising it. I define myself as a sceptical believer. So I believe there's something, but I'm very sceptical of things that I experience or we would experience on an investigation. It has to go through a huge series of debunking before saying, right, I think that was paranormal. So the group looked like it was going to die, so someone had to step up and take it on. Which I did with the help of somebody else, but now it's solely me, and yeah, that's pretty much it. We are where we are with a really good team, and I think it's in the best place it's been ever, in my opinion.
Welcome back to the KASE Files, everybody. I'm Rick. With me is Crabby, and today we have a very special guest, the leader of Kent and South East Paranormal, Dan. Welcome to the show, mate. How you feeling?
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, good to be here. Finally,
in our cramped little space.
Yep. We've been teasing this one since episode 1, so no pressure, Dan.
No, none at all.
So before we dive in, the same old stuff, if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit subscribe, turn on notifications. If you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, give us a follow, leave us a review. It genuinely helps so much. It really, really does, because we would like to get out to everybody we can. Dan, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Yeah, so before we start, Dan, it's time to bring another instalment of Crabby's Quirky Questions. So, Dan, this is where each guest of the show faces a bunch of questions, so we try and get an understanding of who you are. You ready?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Occupation?
Web developer.
Star sign?
Taurus.
Ooh. Your favourite paranormal location to date?
I've got 2, Kelvin and Hatch and Slough Fault.
Your biggest pet peeve, whether it be in general or anything else?
I relate it to paranormal investigations, and that's people making noises, because it makes it hard to review evidence. We're looking that way.
Certain someone crunching on a load of polos earlier. Last time you got scared?
Oh, that's a good one. Last time I got scared, I actually can't remember the last time I got scared, so I can't answer that. We'll be here for a while.
All right. Your football team, if you support one?
Unfortunately, Leicester City.
Okay, up the Foxes.
Sorry about that, man.
Yeah, I know, it's been terrible this year. It's hard watch.
Pineapple on pizzas?
Absolutely not.
No.
I won't even let you finish the question.
That's a sin.
Yeah.
It's a sin.
People should
Disgusting.
be ashamed. Right, well, that concludes Crabby's Quirky Questions.
Right, should we get into your first experience?
Yeah, so, Dan, before we talk about KASE, we want to know about you. When did all of this start? What was the first experience that got you interested in the paranormal?
First experience would be when I was about 13 or 14 years old. I was living at home with my mum and stepdad. I had a pet hamster, so before going to bed, I'm going to the spare room to feed the hamster, make sure he's locked up, stuff like that. As I am leaving the little bedroom, the spare bedroom where he's situated, shut the door behind me. From the room immediately to my right, I had a chilling woman's scream, like a proper horror movie scream, and I felt a cold breath with it as well. Absolutely terrified me. Wanted to run, but I couldn't. I was frozen to the spot. My mum heard it downstairs, come running up. What the hell was that?
Really?
Thought it was me, I'd hurt myself or something. But no, she just found me frozen to the spot upstairs and almost had to drag me away from the spot because I just was frozen with fear. Crazy. My dad, she called my dad, he come round, he literally ripped the house apart because we thought someone was in the house. It was that vivid, but found nobody. And it made me intrigued more than scared.
So it's another one of those situations where not just you, because you can write that off, that somebody screamed outside and a window was left ajar.
Yeah.
But your mum, who wasn't in the room with you, was downstairs.
She was downstairs, yeah.
And she comes up to go, did you hear that? That you're all right?
Yeah, she thought I hurt myself. So
And of course, at 13 years old, you do sound like a woman screaming.
exactly. Probably still do.
So where did you go from there? Did you think to yourself, I want to get to the bottom of this? Because obviously you're terrified. But did you sit there and go, I want to know what happened? Or were you just point blank saying, I never want to experience this again? And it's been later on that you've come back and gone, actually, this is where I want to be.
I think the latter. I think I was too young really to think, right, to get to the bottom of this, what was it? To me, it was just scary in the time. There was some strange things in that house, which, I wasn't really told about at the time. So it kind of correlates when I hear stories later on. But yeah, it made me intrigued later on in life, I guess, to find out exactly, what's going on out there that's paranormal, because I was always watching like Most Haunted and stuff like that shortly after this, but I didn't really want to get into investigating until later on.
And did you ever look into the house? Did you ever now you're older, did you ever sit there and go, what's the history of this house? What's the history of the land? What is the explanation?
I had a brief look really. So it was Riverview Park in Gravesend, which used to be, I believe it was like near an airfield, and there was a case where a house, I'm not saying this house necessarily, there was a report of a German pilot that haunted one of the houses. Not saying it was our one, because why would it sound like a female scream? But yeah, so there are reports of hauntings on the estate.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, so obviously, believer or skeptic, where does that leave you now? After everything you've seen over the years, are you a team believer, team skeptic, or somewhere in the middle?
I define myself as a skeptical believer. So I believe there's something, but I'm very skeptical of things that I experience or we would experience on an investigation. It has to go through a huge series of debunking before saying, right, I think that was paranormal. So skeptical believer.
It's sort of on the same line as me last week, where you want it to be paranormal,
yeah,
but until you are absolutely 100%, it's never going to be.
Absolutely, yeah, 100%. I still, to make myself that believer of kind of what you said, I need to see an apparition in front of me and probably have a second person there to witness it as well, to make sure it just isn't me.
Yeah, that is kind of important actually, because you need to have that validation.
Yeah, 100%.
Otherwise, I guess it can be kind of debunked as maybe your imagination.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen things, most recently, Slough last week, but I was, in that moment, the thing I saw, I think I was the only one that saw it, and then as you think about it more, you're like, was it the trick of the eye? Was it this? Yeah, so many factors. So for me, I have to just say, no, it was a trick of the eye for me.
So I would assume that everybody listening to this, we're a KASE Paranormal podcast, would assume that we are all hardened believers, that there's nobody out there that could dissuade us from what we believe. How important do you think it is to have a good mix of individuals from hardcore skeptics to full believers to somewhere in the middle like yourself? How do you think that works in a group environment like us?
It's massively important. If it was a group of just believers, you'd be getting carried away with everything. The slightest knock, oh, it's a ghost. You've always got the skeptical guys there, which in a way I think is the most important to keep everybody firmly on the ground. I'll give you a very quick example. Once, years ago, you might have been at the investigation, Crabby, Kelvin and Hatch. We was in the map room. And it was quiet, people were just walking around reading a bit of the history and all the information that was there. All of a sudden the door closes, it just creeps shut, bang. And then obviously everyone's like, oh, what was that? What on earth was that? It took about, I want to say 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes for the skeptical guys to work out someone walked on a floorboard over the other side of the room, which made this door shut, and we debunked it. But that's the nature of the group, right? That could have easily been put down as that was a paranormal experience, somebody shut that door, but no, it was actually one of us, and that's why it's vital for skeptics to help keep everybody balanced.
Yeah, and that doorstop that wooden doorstop for that door is so old, it's so worn away. That if
Exactly.
you get like 10 people walking around that on that floor, it at some point in
It's
the
gonna
night
go.
that door slams, and it has done every year. Every time we've been there, that door will slam.
Great. So when I go eventually, I'll be terrified of this door slamming, and then you go, "No, don't worry, that's just the door."
You can see how events companies would use that, wouldn't you? Right?
Yeah.
Right. We know if we keep walking over this door's eventually going to go, and no one's going to figure it out here.
Yeah, because you've not got half an hour to sit there. You get quickly rushed on and tell
Exactly.
everybody that you had a massive ghostly experience, and it was amazing.
It used to be creepier because you used to have the clock in that room that was ticking, and you'd have the voice of the guy who did the time sponsored by Acris. There used to be a guy's voice that used to speak as well as the ticking clock, and then you coincide that with the door slamming. All three of those things are creepy, but the voice is not on anymore, and they've actually switched the ticking off as
That's
well.
it. Yeah.
So
I'm not gonna lie, nothing unsettles me, I think, more than a ticking clock. It drives me insane.
but it's interesting that room though, because the amount of footsteps I've heard above it. I don't know if you've heard the same, but yeah, that is one of the reasons why I'd want to do Kelvin and Hatch on my own.
Yeah.
To be in that same map room to see if the footsteps still occur above, because one of those things that you just can't explain.
Well, I mean, last time we was there, we heard footsteps. Our group did. I was in a
Yeah.
separate group to you, but you was on the top floor. We was right at the bottom, middle floor. No one was on there, and we could hear footsteps. Well, we could hear knocking
Yep.
at least, which we interpreted as footsteps.
Yep.
And static cameras revealed nobody was on that floor. So
Yep.
what was it? Again, we'll go back and try and figure it out.
Yeah, it's a great place. It's the location that keeps on giving.
That I'm yet to go to, which I'm extremely jealous about.
Oh, you haven't been there?
I've not been yet.
Oh,
no.
okay.
I've not
Wow. You coming this year?
Yes, I can't wait. But unless something crops up, I can't remember what happened, but I was in this year.
No, nothing's gonna
And then
crop up.
something cropped up, and it was like, no, it can't happen.
You're booking out the whole. When we go in November.
Yeah, November.
Yeah. So November is now
No,
free.
September.
For you. September.
So we'll have you back in September to go through my first experience of Kelvenden and then what we're doing there. Could you give us a brief background on KASE? Because obviously you're our fearless leader now, so you should be biographically, but to the day on what has happened in this group.
Yep.
So can you give us a brief background? Obviously, it's been running since 2007. How did it start, and how do you think it's grown into what it is today?
It originally started, so I've been a part of the team since like 2000 and I forgot how long I've been there.
Sorry, Laura.
That's the first swear word.
That's the first one.
Unbelievable.
We'll cut it. So I wasn't there at the beginning. I started later on, but I believe it started in 2007 with a lady called Jackie. I don't know if you was a part of the group early on.
No.
Eventually, she left, 2 other people took over, Donna and Carl, and then it got to a stage where the group, they were moving away. So the group looked like it was going to die. So someone had to step up and take it on, which I did with the help of somebody else. But now it's solely me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We are where we are with a really good team. And I think it's in the best place it's been ever, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you joined 2016 maybe, or yeah, I think you joined 2000.
Yeah, it was 2016. Yes, yeah, 2016.
I joined in 2015, so it was only a few months after I joined that you then joined. So yeah,
That's about a 10-year anniversary thing on the socials when you get there.
Exactly. Yeah, we will. We won't put a photo from then and now because I'll look incredibly a lot older.
So yeah, like you say, we did have a rebrand in 2023 from what it was previously to Kent and South KASE Paranormal, which is now KASE. Why did you feel like that was what we needed to move on and to grow?
It was a group decision, and it was just beforehand. The name was just like we cover Kent. Now we want to be seen that we cover the wider Kent and South East region, and it's not just that. We'll if the right case ever comes up, we will. Go up north. We've been to Wales, all sorts of places. But yeah, we want to just basically reflect. We cover the whole region.
And so, for you and the group, what's the ambition?
Oh, the ambition, I guess, is obviously to find out if there is an afterlife, if the paranormal is a real thing, without sensationalizing it, like you see in the entertainment industry, TV channels, YouTube and all that. So yeah, document whatever we can, ultimately have fun on these things, you know, because we're a group of friends at the end of the day with the same goals, and we're like-minded. Yeah, have fun and hopefully find that evidence.
And is there one location that you really want to visit?
There is one, and there's mixed feelings about it within the group, especially, and that's 30 East Drive. It's something.
That's why it's the best.
Yeah.
Because the man sat across from me right now says it's
the next door neighbour.
It's the next door neighbour.
A big part of it, I want to go there to see for myself if it's a next door neighbour, you know.
Yeah.
But there's and we'll talk about them. There's one team I do really trust on YouTube. That's the Ouija Brothers. And they swear by the place, and I think one of them had their first experience there.
That was before they even started, wasn't it? I remember
so,
watching the background on that. It was him. There was the two of them and his dad, and then they just saw like a ball of flames or a light in the middle of the living room.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what I saw. I believe one of them saw a figure of a little girl as well in one of the bedrooms. I might be wrong. I'm sure that's the case, but I trust them guys, and and for them to say they think it's the real deal, I want to go there and check it out for myself. And hopefully we'll be booking it for next year for the team.
That'd be insane.
Yeah,
fingers crossed.
Obviously, mentioned the Ouija Brothers before. I mean, obviously, we'll just give them a bit of a plug here, but obviously they have set the kind of bar in terms of legit paranormal ghost hunting.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, 30 East Drive, I think it's a debunker's delight as well, because, you know, when something does happen, like a pram falling down the stairs, I remember messaging you at the time, and I said, that's gravity. And then I think 2 weeks it took for that answer to come out and say it was gravity.
Oh, I firmly believe it was gravity. Yeah, 100%. And again, the Ouija Brothers said it's gravity
Was that
as well.
Most Haunted?
No, this happened with the Ouija Brothers. It's happened with a lot of people. Ouija Brothers left a live camera. They went out for a curry, I think.
That's it, yeah.
And while they were out for a curry,
that one, yeah.
it come down the stairs. And but again, they could have said that was a ghost, that was paranormal activity. But no, they determined it was gravity themselves, and that's what I mean.
Well, it was actually Beardo that went there, I think, 2 weeks later, and then he then kind of did the testing himself, and it was established as gravity. But yeah, it's those type of things for that kind of place. I'm very much on the fence, but hey, look, you know, we'll all eventually go, and then we can come back here and talk about it.
Yeah, 100%.
That'd be amazing.
It's the dream.
Yeah, it is. So obviously, as the leader, you get to decide that. But what does that look like on a day-to-day? Like, how do you take on leading this group? What does it involve?
I don't think many people realise it is a hell of a lot of work. It's like another full-time job.
I think I've started to realise since doing this and having all the back and forth with you, I think I've actually started to realise how much you actually put into this, and it's phenomenal.
It is a lot of work, especially with Laura coming on board. You'll be interviewing her next episode. She does a lot for the website and pushing us out, the SEO stuff, the blog stuff, which then I upload onto the website. I've got to look for these venues as well, dealing with private investigation inquiries, all sorts. There's lots of things to do every day, but I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
And was there a moment where you thought, right, this is mine to lead now? Or did it happen more of a kind of gradual thing?
I never envisaged leading it. But as I mentioned earlier, the guys that formerly run the group was going to die with them moving away. So I was like, right, someone's got to steer this ship now. And that was me. And boy, am I glad I've done it, because I think it's in a really good place and it's exciting to be a part of.
Yeah, I agree.
If I had to say to you, what's the single hardest thing about doing what you do for us? What's the hardest part?
Oh, the hardest part is probably getting all your money.
That's a good point. We've still got to pay for the next one as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's a hint. No, it's, I don't know. Everyone's generally good with all that kind of thing. I think it's just, I think the hardest part is securing venues that people are generally interested in going to, because as much as we like to go back to some old favourites, you got to try and freshen it up with some new ones, and that's the hard bit, especially when you don't know a location. It's hard to try and plan that investigation before going and trying to make it as enjoyable and seamless for everybody. That's probably the real challenge.
That's fair. I don't doubt it, because that sounds like too much work for me. But I do appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries.
So going on, we spoke last week a bit about how much we would love to get involved in private investigation work.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, private is people calling us and saying we've got an issue at our house. It's something we treat very respectfully. It's something that we don't like to treat as we would a normal venue.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to someone that is having unexplained activity in their house, and if they're to say to us, "Hey, I'd like you to come in," what's that look like to you?
Well, the process usually is, look, we get emails emails mainly, or social media messages. Sometimes we get a lot of information. Sometimes it's really minimal, which is fine. It's hard for these people to reach out and know what to say. Generally, what we do, I mentioned the website. We've got some guides on our website. There's a whole category called Paranormal Guidance for Homeowners, and it helps people debunk stuff for themselves. Like, we'll have things like them knocks you're hearing. Have you checked it's not your boiler, or when your heating switched off, it's your pipes. It's all little tips like that for people. And if they can't debunk it, so some might not read it, and that's fine. But if they still think, no, I've got a problem here, the first step would be I'll jump on a phone call with them, introduce the group, tell them exactly what we're about, explain the process. First and foremost, tell them we don't charge for this. This is free. We just want to help you, which I think puts a lot of minds at rest as well, because they're thinking, how much is this going to cost me? We'll get on that call. I'll explain the process, and then we'll set up an interview. So we'll go for a visit. So we've got 3 designated members, which is myself, Darren and Laura, who do them visits. And all we do on them visits is literally, we don't do any investigating. We sit there, we listen to their story, we ask them questions. If they're happy to do so, they take us on a house tour. Quietly, I'm looking for natural explanations for things. Laura's trying to tune in on the spiritual side without giving them anything. And yeah, we're normally there for about 45 minutes to an hour, not too long. We'll provide them with a report, and then we'll go along and say, look, we'll go away, debrief, and say, do we think there's an investigation needed? Contact them, and yeah, we'll do an investigation for them. And that's the process. And the real goal of that is to, like, we won't go in there with the gadgets like we would for a normal one. The real goal is to make them feel comfortable in their own home. And there's been cases in the past that I've been on where, yeah, you can see a real difference in that homeowner after we've left, and that's really rewarding.
And how do you approach it sensitively? How do you approach it sensitively? Yeah. How do you approach it sensitively? Because obviously, someone reaching out about their home is obviously very different to just a generic investigation that we do amongst the group.
Yeah, you just got to listen to them, and even if you think there's something rational going on, you don't want to immediately dismiss them. You got to make them feel heard, and yeah, you got to make them feel as comfortable as possible. You don't want to just dismiss their claim straight away. And at the same time, if you do think there's something going on, you got to be sensitive in that way. You don't want to scare them that you've got a shadow figure in your house lurking and watching you. You don't want to be telling them that.
Yeah, or the demon.
Or the demons.
You've got a demon in your room.
Well, there's a story about that before, isn't there? But yeah, anyway.
So at the end of the investigations that we do, and private investigations, what would you, obviously you got the report, that's the initial one, what would you say is a desirable outcome for people having, because let's be real, we're not Ghostbusters. We're not going to turn up with proton packs and rid your house of spirits. What's the outcome? How do we resolve that for people?
Ultimately, make them feel comfortable, make them feel like there's nothing to be scared of. There are ways of cleansing. But that's entirely up to that homeowner, right? Some people don't want that to happen. A lot of people, I think, just want to realise, look, there's nothing to be scared about. And yeah, it's different per case, to be honest. But yeah, as long as we leave, they're happy. We'll be guided by them. If they want to try cleansing, they can do that. yeah. But most of the time, it's making people realise there's nothing to be scared of.
I imagine people just want to be heard as well.
And be heard.
Right.
Yeah.
You're sitting there in your living room and going, am I going insane? And then we can come in and actually go, no, actually, you're not. Or actually, do you know what? There's this explanation for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's a difficult subject for people just to kind of talk to a normal person about, isn't it? It's like, I think I've got all haunted in my home, and then someone goes, okay, yeah, you're a bit mad, mate.
Well, they should get ridiculed, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're kind of opening yourself up to all kinds of things. Dan, for anyone listening right now who might be going through something like this at their home, how do they get in touch with KASE?
Through our website. Again, I encourage anybody to go and read the guides on there. But if you want to get in touch, email us info@kaseparanormal.co.uk or on any of the socials, which will be linked below. We get back to you extremely quickly and try and get a resolution.
All right.
So that's been fantastic to have you on today with us, mate. Really appreciate you coming down. Obviously, taking time out of your day. Thank you for finally making it onto the podcast. Hope you've enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Oh, thank you. I mean, obviously, we could talk for hours, as we always say on the show, but we'll save some more for another episode as well, where you can come back down and we can talk about other locations and other kind of stories that you might have. Because when you leave here, you think, do you know what? I should have spoken about that.
Yeah, we've already booked him in for September.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be booked in for more as well.
And we've got loads to talk about, right? Like before you was hit, we've had some experiences over the years, and it's probably about 10 episodes right there.
It is. Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's it for episode 3. If you've enjoyed this one, please share it. Word of mouth is everything. Subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Amazon Music, or anywhere that you get your podcasts. If you'd like to leave us a review, that is fantastic. Even just a thumbs up on Facebook all helps. We'll leave all the links to everything in the show notes, but we can't wait until next time. Come here, Crabby.
Yeah, there's more incredible episodes on the way. Until next time, stay curious. Thank you, Dan.
And remember, if something goes bump in the night, you know where we are. And we've been the KASE Files. We'll see you on the other side.